afternoon and welcome to S24 Special. Today is June 12, Nigeria's Democracy Day. But June 12 is not just a date on the calendar, it is a memory, a wound, a warning, and for many Nigerians, it is still an unfinished promise. On June 12, 1993, Nigerians voted in what many still would describe as one of the freest and most credible elections in the country's history. The election appeared to produce a national mandate for late Chief Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, MKO Abiola, a businessman, philanthropist, and candidate of the Social Democratic Party. But that mandate was annulled by the military government of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. What followed was anger, resistance, arrest, repression, international condemnation, the brief and astronomical interim government, the rise of General Sani Abacha, the detention of MKO Abiola, the killing of Kudrat Abiola, and years of democratic struggle. Nigeria eventually returned to civilian rule on May 29, 1999. Then, in 2018, late President Muhammadu Buhari moved Democracy Day from May 29 to June 12, placing MKO Abiola and the 1993 election at the center of Nigeria's democratic memory. Today, 27 years after the return to civil rule, the question is no longer whether Nigeria has democracy on paper. The question is whether Nigerians can feel democracy in their lives, everyday lives. Can they feel it in food prices, security, jobs, medical facilities, schools, roads, electricity, justice, and accountability? And today, President Bola Tinubu, in his Democracy Day address, said Nigeria has experienced its longest stretch of civilian rule. He said democracy is not perfect, but it is ours. He defended ongoing economic reforms, acknowledged the hardship, and said democracy must be felt in the pocket. But outside official ceremonies, many Nigerians are not only celebrating, some are protesting, some are reflecting, some are angry, and some are tired of the back and forth with economic policies. Some are still hopeful. Civil society groups have called demonstration over insecurity, hardship, kidnappings, food prices, and declining living standards a major problem. Major news report today show protesters demanding action on hunger, insecurity, and governance. So today on S24 Special, we ask, is June 12 a celebration, a remembrance, or a national audit? I am Halima Abdurrauf, and welcome to S24 Special for June 12. And joining us today are distinguished guests with experience across governance, law, public policy, security, civil society, political history, youth engagement, and democratic accountability in persons of Dr. Mahmoud Tunde Hassan and Dr. Akin Faponda. Welcome to S24 Special. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with this simple question. I'll start with Dr. Tunde. What does democracy mean to you as a person if you look at the current situation we are as a country?
No, I'd rather not look at it within the context of the situation we are, but within the context of an ideal situation.
Okay.
I mean, for me, democracy means living your life to the fullest. It means having the power to choose. It means having the power to design the trajectory of your life. It means also being in a position to make a responsible commitment to the growth of society. Now, if you put all of this together, mold it into the context that Nigeria is in, you ask yourself, who is fulfilling, who is getting fulfilled in the context of my own understanding of democracy? Who is getting fulfilled? The largest spread of the Nigerian populace cannot lay claim to the ideal picture that I painted earlier. Most go to bed hungry. Most wake up from their beds, if they do have a bed, wake up hungry, and they look into the rest of the day with despondency, with desperation, with hopelessness and helplessness. So you ask yourself, if the ideal democracy is to put on the table and in your life a lived experience of happiness, of fulfillment, of aspirations achieved, then we have a problem. We're still confronted with multidimensional poverty. Now, the last figure was 63% of Nigerians.
Yes,
and
that's
I think
over 100 million.
That's
people.
about 103.3 million people. Now, in the past 3 years, the numbers have expanded, has ballooned into something more dangerous to the point of near explosion now. Now, if you take every parameter of HDI, Human Development Index.
Yeah.
Every index, we are at the bottom of the ladder, the bottom of the food chain. Healthcare, almost zero. Education, almost zero. Public infrastructure, almost zero. Security is scandalous. Even in terms of how you are seen and related with by the rest of the world, it has changed drastically in the past 27 years of this
democracy.
Pardon my expression, so-called democracy, because it is not meeting the aspirations of Nigeria. So if you ask me, what does democracy mean to me? Or rather, what it doesn't mean to me. It doesn't mean hunger. It doesn't mean close to 20 million children out of school. It doesn't mean high mortality rate for our mothers and children. It doesn't mean farmers going through back-breaking process in this age of automation using hoe to still till the land. It doesn't mean public infrastructure that are almost in ruins. It doesn't mean industries that are comatose. In the past 1 year or thereabout, figures are that 7.2 million businesses went under in this country. So democracy doesn't mean any of this. So
that's what the problem is, right?
That's where the problem is.
And let's go back to Dr. Akinfa Ponda. I think I'll just take a cue from what Dr. Tunde said, that what does the democracy not mean to him? So to you, what does it not mean to you?
First of all what my brother has said, they are mere symptoms of our lack of understanding. We are trying to graft the term democracy to Nigeria. We can never be democratic the way we are. There are no democracy because if you are democratic means mostly within a culture, within a space. Democracy to Yoruba man has a different
meaning.
They want to the Niger Delta, different meaning. They are fishermen, they are in the creeks. Democracy to a Fulani person, pastoralism is way of life.
Nomad.
And there are examples. In Kenya, they are pastoralists. In Gabon, they are pastoralists, and they are making it. UAE is based on oil. They are making it. The Yoruba land is based on some Omoluabi society.
What does that mean?
Omoluabi means egalitarianism, everybody is equal, unless you produce what makes you to be respected.
Okay. Everybody is equal.
Everybody is equal based on performance individually.
Okay.
No, so even the way we are institutions, obas, emirs, we have different way of life that could be democratic within our own space. But because we are grafted together, in Abuja, it's whoever terrorizes the others to win that takes over the space. Previously, the military terrorized everybody, they took over the space, they put their friends, they gave them oil blocks. Is that democratic to give oil blocks to people to make them millionaire when they are doing nothing? Of course it is not.
So, in a nutshell, it seems like the coming together of Nigeria as a country is the main issue, right?
We cannot be democratic forever because democracy doesn't apply to us in our cosmology in the same equal way.
From all the regions.
Yeah. June 12 just sought to impose maybe Yoruba view on the country.
Okay.
And the North said, no, we don't want it. Until we come back to that situation, that one winning formula based on force to enforce their will over the whole country. Is that democratic?
That shouldn't be called democracy in any way. But again, it's a diverse society, right?
Also, coalition now has taken over the country. And he wants to serve second term, maybe third term, if he succeeds.
So the allegation on the third term thing is
if he has the powers, if he has the coalition. build some people, elements from all others, thinking like him. We just, whether you vote or you don't vote, is going to be there.
Okay.
That's not democracy.
That's really disturbing to say during this period of our national life. Before we go further, thank you for the context setting. Before we go into the conversation in details around June 12, 1993 was not simply an election, it was a moment when Nigerians appeared to vote across religion, ethnicity and region. And Dr. Fakonda and Dr. Tunde actually spoke to that in their responses to what democracy means and what it does not mean. MKO Abiola, a Muslim from the southwest, ran with Baba Ganai Kingibe, a Muslim from the northeast. That ticket challenged the old assumption that Nigerians could only vote along narrow identity lines. The annulment did not only cancel an election, it broke public trust in a very disastrous way. It told citizens that their votes could count and still be discarded. That is why June 12 still matters to every Nigerian at this stage, because democracy begins with the ballot, but it survives only when the ballot is respected. Now, let's talk about respecting the ballot in the Nigerian context. In your opinion, let me start with you before I go back to Dr. Tunde. Do you think, as a country, with the diversity you've mentioned, that from different regions, we're not able to see things in the same lens? Do you think we actually respect ballots in this country?
There's no balloting at all. Balloting means actually you are equal as citizens and your own vote will count. Somebody can win by just maybe few hundred votes. The loser will accept that actually this man has a superior idea which people have bought. But here is just slogan. One nation, one people.
Together. Better together.
Renewed hope agenda, only slogan, has no meaning, no effort to translate to anybody. That is not ballot. It's just, and if you do understand, in other societies, you put rules. If you don't have minimum 50% of the electoral voting, it's not legitimate. You must have some threshold. But here is watered down. 10% only will make you win.
But if you consider the National Register from the Electoral Umpire, INEC, it says 93 million Nigerians. And we see the numbers that are less than 30 million voting. That's really not 50%, actually.
That was saying.
Now let's go back to Dr. Tunde.
We don't have the votes.
Do you think we respect the ballot in Nigeria?
I think you've been very, very charitable with that question. I mean, between 1999 and today, there is no election, and please fact check me, there is no election that has gone on without a resort to the courts. None.
No. From 1999
From 1999 till the last bit of election that we held, even the off-season election we held in local governments, and there's none that has gone on without a resort to the judiciary.
Absolutely.
Is that a respect for the ballot?
No.
The ballot is about one man, one vote. Not just that. The ballot is about respect for the rule of law. The ballot is about equity, justice. It's about social justice. It's about it's like a level playing ground for everybody, where you come to the table as equals. Now, between 1999, when this Fourth Republic started, there's none, I repeat myself, no election that has not gone on without a resort to the courts. It has even gone to a point, to a very laughable, almost disgusting point, that anything you do now, it's now street parlance. You don't like it? Go to the courts.
Unfortunately.
Now, we've gotten to that point. Now, I ask you, in terms of the level of responsibility, the sense of responsibility and principle and decorum and conduct and character of those who populate the political space, in terms of the leadership of the political space or the structure of the political space, how do you have a political party which, from the baseline, is supposed to be a formation for people of like minds,
with ideals,
with ideals that they share, and come together and say, we have created this identity for ourselves with these rules of engagement. Now you have those same elements that have come together as political parties, setting rules for themselves, rules of engagement, not even being able to agree on the outcomes of whatever activity they engage in. You go to primaries. At the end of the day, you go to court.
Issues.
You have practically at every level of structural activity of each of these political parties, you end up in the courts. If you cannot respect the rules that you set for yourself, rules of engagement from the beginning, so how does that cascade to the rest of society? So, you see, I think we take a lot of these things for granted, and they get away with it. They think everybody in this country is, pardon the expression, is stupid, but we are not. You go to an average, an everyday political rally from 1999 till date, the only three things you hear, and again, fact check me, slogans of the political party. You mention the name of the political party. I feel as if the political party is just some simplistic alphabetical arrangement. You mention the name of the political parties and the fellowship in chorus shout the slogan of the party. That's identity number one.
Number one.
The second thing they do is to sing and dance. And the third thing they do is to haul insults and abuses on one another. Nothing concrete, no issues, no developmental issues, no existential challenges of the country, no aspiration, no inspiration, no targeting of the future. Even simple targets. I was on a platform not too long ago, and between 1999 and even before then, you and I, all of us have brooms in our houses. Broom, I mean, I want to be very as micro as that.
Possible.
All of us have brooms in our houses, right? Broom is one thing in this country that has defied class. There's no high class, middle class, or low class. Everyone, it has even defied educational exposure, travel exposure.
Even
whatever.
with the inventions, we still go back to brooms.
We still do brooms. But tell me, we're 2026 now? There's about 66 years or thereabout of Nigeria's nationhood.
Yes.
Between 1960 and today, not a single broom factory in this country. Not a single. No, I'd now say to you, if you are talking about issues and your ballot count, and you have all these politicians, sorry, I'm also going to call them charlatans. You have fiendish individuals who just grab power, capture power, and along with that, capture the destiny of over 200 million people. And we just still watch and grumble and complain and do nothing about it because the state capture. So the issue of balloting that you mentioned is a farce, is just for the optics. And I also want to say this, Doctor. You see, democracy is local. Yeah, we are a multi-dimensional society with multiple identities.
Call it heterogeneous
heterogeneous society. Even when they say Nigeria is a secular society, it's also one of the lies we tell ourselves.
Yes.
We're a multi-religious society.
Absolutely.
Now, that's one of the lies we tell ourselves. We have in this country, I've done some research on that, we have over 1,150 dialects.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of also language groups, it's very expansive.
It is.
Very, very expansive.
It is.
You go a few kilometers, people speak another language. And that language comes with culture, with identity, with your own worldview.
Yes.
We must respect that these are together. But unlike what Doctor said, there's nothing we can do about it anymore. We've come together, except we fragment and disintegrate. We're all together in the same space. We must find a way to coalesce ourselves into one identity to forge ahead. The ballot would have done that for us. But because we're even disrespecting the strength and the quality of the ballot, we have people who take advantage of all of us and turn the same ballot that is supposed to be like an equalizer for all of us, they've turned it into weapons against the people. So you find that the same ballot is used to further divide the people. When you go for campaigns, you look for fault lines.
Yes.
And
Muslims, Christians,
and all.
ethnicity.
And all of these, again, unlike Dr. Fakwuda's position, I think a lot of these things in today's age are basically social constructs. We create identity politics because we're bereft of developmental strategies. A lot of the people who go for public office come in on the strength of those identity and use it as the basis for their continuous capture of the state. So they don't come with tangible development project, identity, strategy in
There
their
are
head
no-
of all.
Unfortunately.
Without courage to change the trajectory. And you need these 4 elements.
To be able to
you need
govern.
character, you need conviction, you need competence. But for me, among all of that, given our trajectory, given our history, you need courage.
Courage to do all of that.
To do something different from what we're used to in the past 27 years.
I'm speaking with encyclopedias, and it feels like this conversation should continue for the whole day. I think you mentioned something, and also Dr. Papawunda, on the diversity of Nigerians.
Yeah.
So you've said a lot, and I want to start with Dr. Papawunda on, do you think restructuring is the way? Just in a nutshell, do you think restructuring is a way?
If you don't want to continue lying to ourselves, even United States that we think about, I school in the US, in the Midwest, different. California is different. Texas area is different. The Eastern US is also different. And then United Kingdom, they have Wales.
Yes.
They have Scotland.
Irish.
Yeah.
And English.
They even play football in World Cup separately. They have their own parliaments, but it's still United Kingdom.
The Great Britain.
Great Britain.
Which is not great anymore.
Well, Dr. Tunde, that's according to you.
Our problem is that we are just being unlucky over
With
the
leaders.
years.
Yeah.
The military that took over, they happen to be the least cultured among this our society. Many of them finished school art and they became
Generals.
And started appointing professors, they started appointing medical doctors as their assistants, and they became overlords. And then, in the hurry to leave, because they were disgraced in 1970-something, they handed over to the people they empowered, people they gave away blocks. Those are the people people who have looted the state. And they now have resources to say, you must have parties in offices in not 30 states, before you can form a party. So, party have become PLC. They give you ticket. If they don't give you, you go to another party. They give you ticket, another party. What am I saying, therefore? We are powerless as individuals. We cannot carry guns. It's only a matter of luck. A leader will have to emerge like
A transformational leader.
we may not like
just a leader.
we not like Hitler in Germany, but he emerged and he put his force of personality on Germany. The same thing de Gaulle in France. We are praying. In fact, we thought Buhari would be somebody like that because the way I voted for Buhari 100%. I thought with his pattern way against corruption and is such a very disciplined individual, he will take nonsense from anybody and put us on the line, like Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
But Buhari
Unfortunately-
was a terrible disappointment.
Well, I think I've listened to experts saying that personal integrity doesn't translate to integrity when it comes to leadership. So you never can.
Buhari is just the typical example of what you have just said.
Yeah. I think that's what people are saying,
But all of us were just marooned, even now. We can't do anything. You can't, the state has power to shoot you down if you want to. They want to say no. So we just want to pray for somebody who just emerge with conscience and just have mercy on all of all Nigerians and say, like Fidel Castro, I only have my uniform, I don't need anything from the whole country, just do what is right. And then Yorubas are Yorubas, Ijos are Ijos, Idomas are Idomas, Hausas are Hausas, Fulanis are Fulanis. Let's be honest to ourselves.
So let's quickly take this before we take a short break. Dr. Tunde, restructuring, are you for it or against it? Just in a brief remark.
Well, if restructuring is just a question of rejigging the geography of Nigeria, then absolutely not.
Oh.
If it's just a question of rejigging the geography of Nigeria. If it's also if restructuring is to reallocate who grabs resources, I'm also not for it.
Can't be like that.
You see, but if restructuring is about the essence of a nation, if restructuring is about stop being in denial about who you are and the component part of this country, it's like coming to coming to the table with the truth and to face the truth, then I'm all for it. But our conversation around restructuring thus far, for those who have kicked against it, is because they think they'll have this sense of entitlement. They think they're going to lose their privileged positions. That's number one. Then the other group think it is our, quote unquote, it's our turn to also grab. And I think in the past 20, 30 years or beyond that we've been talking about restructuring, one of the reasons why we've not been able to consummate it and actualize it is because those who are coming to the table to discuss restructuring are not sincere to themselves.
They are not.
Absolutely.
They're not sincere to the nation. We have a space, our political space, that is stoked in treachery and betrayal. A lot of people will come daytime. They come and smile to the cameras daytime. They go back to their closet at night and sharpen the knife against the same person that they are condemning much earlier. You find elements who at one point are totally against a tendency, but the moment you co-opt them into that space,
they switch.
They not only justify it, they defend and fight for it. Now, so all the conversation around this restructuring thus far in the past 30 years has been insincere, has been dishonest, and has been a fraud. I think all those that have been talking about it in the context of geography, in the context of reallocating resources among the elite class, the either political elite or economic elite or whatever kind of elite, whatever character or coloration of the elite, it's just about shifting the resources amongst themselves. In all the calculation about restructuring, I'm not sure, and I stand to be corrected, that the man on the street is not a factor. The interest of the man on the street is not a factor. Those who come from Yoruba land talking about restructuring, they're not factoring the Yoruba man on the street. The man talking about restructuring from Niger Delta is not talking about restructuring in the interest of the man on the street. It's about how I can access
the resource.
And then the man who is up north, if you notice, the conversation around restructuring is also shifting in the north. Previously, you have a lot of elements who are adamant or even resentful against restructuring. Now you're beginning to have conversation around restructuring because they're also beginning to realize that
there are
for too long, the resources of northern Nigeria have been latent. It's like they're frozen in terms of in terms of access. So they're now seeing vistas of opportunity that we can also grab these resources. And then now the mindset is beginning to change. Again, we'll go back to the initial conversation that all the talk around around restructuring is about who grabs resources. And at the mundane level is about geography. And I think that is a more principled position than we've taken it thus far. We are not discussing restructuring in the sense that he has mentioned in Europe, for instance, or in the Americas, where people come and say, this is my worth. This is what I bring to the table. This is what I demand as enlightened self-interest. So if we begin to talk about restructuring in the context of enlightened self-interest that factors the man on the street, then I will be all for it. Under the circumstance, I hold it suspect, I find it fraudulent, and let me use the Gen Z word, it's a scam.
It's a scam. That's really germane. Across major news platforms today, today's Democracy Day is being marked by two competing realities. On one side, government is projecting resilience, reform, and continuity. When President Tinubu says Nigeria has preserved 27 years of unbroken civilian rule and insists the current economic reforms are necessary to secure long-term prosperity. On the other side, civil society groups, activists, labor voices, youth organizations, and protest movement are using June 12 to demand action on hunger, insecurity, kidnapping, inflation, transport costs, weak wages, and declining living conditions. Just in one sentence, What do you make of these two contrasting realities? The
They are,
president projecting resilience while the people are talking about insecurity, inflation, etc.
The president's position can only be expected. You do not expect him to come own up to the failures that we're seeing. It's also part of the problems we have in this country, that there's, you see glaring leadership failure, but we're consistently remain in denial of it. So I didn't expect anything different from the president. Neither do I expect anything different from the other end, the civil society making demands against hunger, against insecurity. But put this together. Are we speaking to the core realities, the lived realities of Nigerians? Because the moment, the extent to which we talk at cross purposes, it doesn't resolve the matter.
Let's get to listen to your point.
I'll use this medium to say what we need is, I mean, in the 50s, each block of Nigeria brought their leaders from every community together before they went to Lancaster to hold talks, to fashion Nigeria. Since then, it's been one powerful big man who has money that says, I'm Yoruba man, represent Yoruba Lokon. But I wish other parts of Nigeria would do what we are doing now in western region of Nigeria. We are getting together to be a platform of technocrats from every part of Yoruba land, Kogi, Kwara, Oyo, Osun. We want to have a new slate of leadership, people who are already accomplished. People are not looking for anything again, they have been blessed. We are forming a bloc. If other peoples, nations, Fulani nation, Hausa nation, Ijaw nation, Igbo nation, Yoruba nation will now bring credible people who are selfless, not looking for contract. I'm not looking for anything from Tinubu at all, so I'm totally independent. Once you have people like that together, they to be able to come together and talk. And there's a movement coming up to that extent.
Oh, really? Is it the Southwest Development Agenda?
No.
It wasn't that. It's the technocratic one.
Western region of Nigeria movement.
Western region of Nigeria movement. That's interesting. I'm just hearing it for the first time.
Yeah, it's coming up. And then there is Citizens for Restructuring Nigeria coming up now to do a meeting in Abuja in July. They have been doing so many things. The people are from the bottom up to rise now, with credible leaders who are not looking for contracts, not looking for anything.
Anything. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Fapo Unda. With this, we'll go on a quick break due to time and return to talk about why the emotional power of June 12 up till now. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back. It's still Democracy Day special on S24 television. We've heard deeply rooted responses on what this date means, what it means for every region of Nigeria, what we need to do differently in terms of leadership, ideals, etc. from Dr. Tunde Mahmood Hassan and also Dr. Akin Faponda. We'll take it off from there. Because June 12 is very significant for every Nigerian, whether it is the positive side or the negative side, people talk about this day. And from the movement from 2018 that the late President Muhammad Buhari did with Democracy Day, it even gives a more wider question that what is the significance of this day really to every Nigerian? So let's talk about why June 12 still carries so much emotional power. Let me start with Dr. Akin. Why does it still carry so much emotional power that people from the Southwest see it in a different light, people from the North see it in a different light, people from the South, Southeast see it from different lights? Why? Why there's so much emotional power?
June 12 is about M.K. Abiola. He used his own force of personality as a human being to try to touch all parts of Nigeria. And it was democratic in that everybody voluntarily optioned A4, just queue behind whom you want. It was counted, there is no fraud. But then, that was an aberration into the soul of Nigeria as a country. Nigeria as a country was not meant to be democratic like that. The people who own Nigeria would not tolerate common people to decide who will lead them, which is the meaning
The people who own Nigeria?
Yes.
Who are the people that owns Nigeria?
David Mark, people like that, who said, I will kill Abiola if he were to be made president. He said so.
David Mark, the former Senate president?
He said telephone is not meant for everybody to use. He said so. He represented the people behind Babangida who said, no, we don't want ordinary people to tell us what to do.
Was Abiola ordinary person at the time? No, as an entrepreneur, a philanthropist?
Abiola used the money which he also didn't get properly, in all honesty. He got money through ITT contract, telephonic contracts in the country. He was even branded as CIA agent, but then he overcame that and being large-hearted. He reached out to all parts of Nigeria, and Nigeria wanted somebody who looks sincere. Nigeria don't really want much. They don't want somebody who looks sincere, who looks God-fearing. And then they will follow him. Somebody who is willing to share what he has. That's what Nigeria really wants. They don't want a greedy gluttony of leadership. So, but the people who own Nigeria at that time, who thought even they empowered him. Murtala empowered him. Murtala empowered Abiola to empower.
Murtala Muhammad.
Yes, he empowered the Minister of Communications. So those who have been giving oil blocks, who own the country, they don't want ordinary people to say, this is who we want. It's an affront. So they said no.
On their ego.
On everything. So they said no. They don't care what any bloody civilian would think. That's why when the time came, about the others guns to shoot anybody in Ikurudu, in Ibadan, everywhere. Nobody would believe Abiola could be in prison for more than 2 days.
And it lingered for 5 years.
Nobody could believe it. Somebody with that connected. But the powers that be, and I mentioned some of them up till now, they just don't want ordinary people to feel their democracy. They don't mean it.
For the want of time, Dr. Aki, let's take a few more questions before we call it a wrap. I'm sure that for Political Arena, during the rundown show, you would be able to still give more details on this. So, Dr. Tunde, let's come back to you. What exactly do you think Babangida's annulment destroyed? In just a sentence.
It destroyed a sense of future.
The sense of future.
And between then and today, Nigeria has remained a frozen society.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately. So across major news platforms today, again, democracy is being marked by two competing persons. If you look at the street polls, there is insecurity, there is poverty, there is out-of-school children and all of this. Do you think we can fix them in democracy?
First, let me say that this competing forces you're talking about is also symptomatic of the disconnect between the leadership and the followership. The pulse, the pains, the pangs that the followership feel is not what the leadership is bothered about.
Wouldn't you say they are in denial? Because I'm sure that not all their family members are elitist.
They are not only in denial, right? They are criminally, I'm sorry to use that word, they are criminally complicit of it. Because they want it that way. Forget the optics, forget the pontificating, forget the posturing about the welfare of the people and all whatnot. They want it that way because the extent to which it remains that way, people are hamstrung. They are unable to challenge and confront them. They are unable to demand accountability, justice, and equity. So it is not about, it's just symptomatic of that disconnect between the leadership and the followership. They are not seeing things the same way. And the extent to which the followership and the leadership are not on the same page in terms of the existential realities within our space, no solution will come. Because the man on the street is not in any position to overturn that. The man on the street needs to go to school. Who funds the schooling? Who allows the policy? Who creates the policy?
Government.
Who fashions the policy? Who implements or don't implement the policy? The same people who want him in that state. Who is the person to provide a medication in the hospitals? Every part of this country, substantial part of this country, is in the state of nature. It is Hobbesian. It's like the way the Almighty Allah created it. Nothing added, nothing changed. Everything. Even the farming we're talking about. They say 78% of Nigerians are into farming. We have massive...
and that's not relatable on the ground. I know Dr. Akin would have something to say about that.
You understand. And then you have a situation where even the farming we're talking about, how many people actually do the real farming? What we do is on a day, every season.
Farming.
Not just subsistence. On a day, because there's no value addition. On a daily basis, go to the farm. The man, all he does is go to the land, dig a hole in it, small hole, and drop a seed. And then go back home.
No mechanization.
Not just that. God does the rest. It brings the rain, it brings the sun, it brings the wind, it germinates, and it gets back to the farm 3 months or so later to go and harvest it. What have you really done? There are countries where there's no rain, there's no sun.
They still farm.
And they eat.
Let's go to Dr. Fakunda. What is Nigeria's strongest democratic achievement since 1999, in your opinion?
Sadly, just because money was coming and it's being spent with impunity, with recklessness, there's no... Look, when we don't have a 5-year, 10-year plan, every year, when in December, whatever is left in the account is shared. You can't build a house in 1 year. Design, construction, commissioning. You can't do it.
You can't.
So I just scavenging.
Doctor, let me say this.
It shouldn't be a yearly...
Let me say this. If you ask me,
yeah,
what is the greatest achievement of democracy, is counting the numbers.
Counting the numbers in terms of population?
No.
Counting the numbers in budgetary allocation?
No, counting the numbers. We've done 27 years of unbroken
okay.
We've held,
counting the numbers
we've held this number of elections.
6 presidents.
Yes, we have 6, 7 presidents. We've just been counting the numbers. And the
numbers are not counting.
Now, the positive numbers, those are the positive numbers. The number of years we've stayed with continuous civil rule, 27 years, right? We've had how many presidents now? Counting the numbers. We've held this number of elections. But the negative numbers we're not counting. The number of people who die on a daily basis. The number of people who go to bed hungry. The number of children unable to go to school. The number of women who die just for simple childbirth process. The number of infrastructure that have gone under. The number of industries. Those are the negative numbers. But the one we concentrate on, that pleases the heart of those who have captured the state.
So let's take a few more questions. This answer should be very simple, short, and yes or no if it's applicable. As Nigerians, are Nigerians more politically aware today than in 1999? Dr. Akin?
They are not.
Okay. Dr. Tunde?
I think they are. They're not using that awareness.
Okay. So if GDP grows but hunger deepens, is democracy succeeding in your simplest terms?
I'll say democracy is a lie in that case.
Dr. Akin?
I agree.
Is judiciary still trusted as democracy's last line of defense? Remember that in the beginning of this conversation, you mentioned that we go to court, everything. There is now like a slogan that anybody that is being maybe in a disadvantaged position is asked to go to court when they know that the justice system would not serve that cause.
We don't have judges again.
Okay, let me say this.
People who are really appointed organically on merit. In the last Chief Justice is your brother, your daughter, your in-law,
your ally.
that is brought in to sit on the highest court. There is a senator who said his wife is harassed to procure judgment. He said so in the floor of the Senate. Senator Ukashua.
Yeah.
He says so that you, all of you here, you come to harass me with my wife to change justice for you. The senator said, please shut up, don't talk.
Let me say this. Your question is what? Judiciary, the last line of defense for democracy.
Yes.
My response to that is that judiciary is the last point of validation of fraud in order to make it look legitimate.
And lastly, let's just quickly take this before we call it a wrap. What must Nigeria fix before the 2027 general elections, considering our current situation? And from all the conversations, just in a nutshell, what should we fix before 2027? Let's start with Dr. Akin.
If we don't stop the elections and fix the country and come down to a conversation on who we are, where we are going, all the values, we need to do some national conversation. If we have to halt the elections, let's halt it, because it's a journey to nowhere.
Do you think it's going to work to stop the election?
No, then we can be going the wrong course. For the next 30 years, you can.
Okay.
You can keep going, no problem. Obstinacy is all right, that's the consequences.
Unfortunately. Dr. Tunde, lastly, please.
I think what we need to fix is complacency.
Complacency.
We also need to fix a docile society, but that's where difficulty is. Because for you to fix that, you need a society that is knowledgeable, that is educated. That will not be handed over to you. There's nothing like that that will be donated to the civil space. Nobody in his sane mind will call for a forceful disruption of the system. Absolutely not. But I think that we need to fix our complacent nature in terms of holding leadership accountable. We must
fix that.
Get to the point where we hold everybody accountable. This opaque nature of leadership in this country must cease. And it doesn't really require you going to the four walls of a university to be able to do that. Cambodians have done that. The Cubans have done that. The Singaporeans have done that. Thailand has been able to do that. Here in Africa, there are countries that are Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic has been able to do that. Eritrea, with all its challenges, has been able to do that. So it's possible to do that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tunde Mahmoud Hassan and Dr. Akin Fakonda, for joining us on this special edition. As we close this Democracy Day special, one thing is clear to all of us. June 12th cannot be reduced to ceremony. It is bigger than a public holiday. It is bigger than speeches due to the nature, the impact it made after the annulment of the election. Was the sacrifice worth it for Nigerians, for MKO Abiola, for Kudirat, for journalists, for labor leaders, for activists, for ordinary Nigerians who stood against military rule at the time? The answer cannot come only from the government, from the speech that we listened to today. It must come from the quality of Nigerian life, from the safety of children in schools, from the price of food, from the fairness of election, and from the accountability of our leaders. President Tinubu's Democracy Day speech must be felt in pockets. Many Nigerians are asking that it should also be felt in their homes, their schools, clinics, farms, etc. So perhaps today is not just a celebration, it is perhaps a national mirror for everyone to rethink, like our guest mentioned, that we need to go out of complacency. We need to maybe stop the election in 2027 to make things better. And I thank our distinguished guests for joining us, and I thank you for watching from all of the angles that you've watched from. I am Halima Abdurrauf. This has been S24 Special for June 12th. Stay with S24 Television, and the President's speech plays in no time. Bye for now.
Over 13,000 terrorists have been neutralized in the past year. But we also keep the door of surrender open. Over 124,000 fighters and dependents have laid down arms since 2023. Through Operation Safe Corridor, we turn our former enemies into citizens, because every life saved is a victory for democracy. to bandits, kidnappers, and sponsors of terror. Surrender or face the full force of the Nigerian state. These windows of surrender will not remain open forever. No mercy will be shown to those who trade in blood of Nigerians. At a time like this, let us not assign blames or point fingers. Crime has no ethnicity. We must stand united and be assured that the enemies of our nation shall soon be history. We will triumph over terror and continue to build a more prosperous nation. June 12, 1993, revealed the possibility of a true Nigerian nation. The heroes of June 12 secured political freedom. Our challenge is to secure economic freedom. Democracy must be felt in the quality of people's lives, in opportunities for youth, in prosperous farmers, successful entrepreneurs, and the dignity of our workers. The reforms we are undertaking were not chosen for ease, but for necessity. 3 years ago, our public finances were under severe strain. Investment was discouraged, and economic uncertainty threatened our future. We chose to act, embracing reforms to advance Nigerians' economic freedom. Since 2023, our reforms have restored stability and credibility to economic management. Federation revenues have risen, providing state and local governments with more resources for infrastructure, education,